Wage slavery. The phrase many young adults keep shouting about on their TikTok lives, and boomers everywhere are actually backing up these Gen Z claims, agreeing that the current 9 to 5 corporate structure that's been around for decades is really only satisfying for the ones on top of the pyramid, while the rest of us squander around for dollar bills and ramen soups. Well, today we're going to dig into this topic and hear some different opinions and stories from folks deep into this mess. And if you personally relate to anything in this video or you just simply like content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's begin.
The idea that a person should be owned is just an intolerable infringement on human rights, whether the person who owns them is nice to them or not. And, in the 19th century, it was widely recognized that the same is true if people are rented. It's an intolerable infringement on people's rights, even if the guy who rents you is nice to you. The question is whether decisions over investment, production, distribution, what happens on the shop floor, conditions of work, all that kind of stuff, whether those decisions should be out of public control. You go back to the 19th century when there was a live, popular, libertarian working class movement, and you will read in the Knights of Labor statement publications that wage slavery is not a lot different from slavery.
Alright, so that boomer right here, this boomer specifically, is making the comparisons towards the old-timey actual slavery and this modern-day 9 to 5 job working class and how it's kind of somewhat similar to wage slavery. And that's what they call it these days, is wage slavery. You'll see that blasted all over every sort of thumbnail and headline, and honestly, I do definitely see the comparisons, me having my own experience in the job corp and trying to ride the ladder up and stroke it off. It's just insane to actually think how far this thing can go. And if you really get deep into the things, really only the guys on top of the pyramid are really the only ones that genuinely profit from any of this. And it seems like Gen Z is now starting to wake up, saying they're not even trying to work at all and even hop on the ladder. Well, a lot of boomers are actually already on the top of the ladder, and they're just hopping off like it's the only option.
From slavery.
Am I the only one that doesn't see the point of this anymore? Trading your time for money. So I'm supposed to give you 8 hours of my day for 5 days a week for the rest of my life?
Think about what that first guy said. That guy's obviously, it looks like he's working at Walmart. Shout out good old Wally World, probably employing too many people across this country and the world. I don't know. I think they're probably worldwide by now. But it's pretty bizarre that even the first guy said, if you are renting your time. Now, next time you clock into work, think about that. You're no better than someone else selling their body. You're just doing it in a different way. You don't got to dirty any holes up, but it's happening to you and around you and with you. It goes deep.
2 months ago, because I just didn't want to fucking go, period. I wrote a letter of resignation on a fucking Word doc, and I slapped it to my manager, and I said, I'm leaving. He was begging me, being like, oh, technically,
he was begging me.
Stay. You got to give us 2 months notice. I was like, 2 months? You're lucky if I gave you fucking 2 weeks. I gave you...
Okay, first of all, 2-month notice? Never heard of that. She must have a high-class position or something, because that's wild. But she said, you're lucky to get a 2-week notice. Okay, that is... I'm not going to say it's mandatory, because you don't really have to do anything. You could just walk out and say... So you could just say, screw the deuce to your boss. You could do that. But it's not going to look too good on your resume if you've been there for a good amount of time, like let's say 6 months, even a few years. You don't want to have that be like a wasted opportunity that can potentially get called by other employers to get like background checks and stuff. So I don't think that's the best decision. But then again, if you haven't been there for that long and the job's that bad, do what you got to do.
Hours, babe, I'm leaving now. And we were just going back and forth, being like, please, like, what can we do? And I'm just like, I don't want to work. I don't want to come. My back hurts. I'm lazy. I want to make TikToks. I'm going to make more money doing TikTok than I am at...
I want to make TikToks. This is the problem. This is why... Guys, people in my generation, I'm 25. This is why they don't believe in us. Don't talk like this. I understand. I've made more money on TikTok than I have at my old 9 to 5 job, but it's not that easy, and it's not a guaranteed thing, okay? There's a lot of ups and downs, and it's not for certain. It's honestly almost it's riding against you, the waves against you, and you should be working on TikTok while you work your normal 9 to 5 job. You should never leave your 9 to 5 job until you are already making more money off your TikToks for a long extended amount of time. And even if You should have multiple platforms at this point. Like TikTok's not safe. We all know this. The government hates it. U.S. hates it. Daddy Trump's the only thing saving it around right now. So you should be trying to hop on YouTube like I am, and other forms of different other platforms, not just one sort. Now, fair enough, you can have multiple sources of income streams through different platforms like TikTok and YouTube. Like there's the AdSense, um, there is the partnerships, and there is the different sort of when you sell products, you get some sort of um, intermission through that. But it's just not really super like reliable that necessarily. Which if you do like your job, which obviously a lot of people don't, I know a lot of people don't, then it's not really. I feel like a lot of influencers are going back to having a job. Sorry, this is way too long of a pause.
So yeah, I left. And y'all are gonna be like, oh, you don't know real struggle. You don't know real struggle. Thank God. Do you see where I am right now, bitch? I really don't give a fuck. I like chilling and being on my phone. Oh, you're mad. Oh, you're mad. I don't care. I made $7,200 in 2 months making 1-minute videos on this motherfucking application. These corporations will fire you in one day and leave you with nothing. If you want to leave, leave, babe. Like,
All right, so it seems like this girl right here was able to make some money on TikTok, and shout out to her. Good for her. I don't think her attitude's gonna serve her very well in the long run. I think you still gotta have a pretty good attitude if you want to have like connections and stuff. But to each their own. It's her life, not mine. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, guys. It's more than possible for anybody to make money on these social media apps, and this is the way people are doing it now. I think people are going to kind of be splitting like a little middle ground from working their. I think many folks are going to be working their normal 9 to 5s and doing content creation on the side. But I think more people are going to start picking up this YouTube and TikTok if it stays around type of bullshit.
You sit down with yourself.
Sorry.
You really, really sit down with yourself. Having a job is sad.
What?
Like, it's a job. Like, it's not even something you want to do. Like, niggas just be like, oh, you need a job. Get a job. I don't want a fucking job. I want something I really actually want to do. And it's just sad because it's like, all right, boom. Just imagine when you was a kid and your mother was telling you, or your mother, your father was like, oh, get up and do that. You like, fuck, I don't want to do it, but I got to do it because they my mother, they're my father. And it's like, imagine doing that every fucking day. 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Wow. Wow. Like, hold on.
Bro pretty much just said if you work a 9 to 5 job, you're no better than like a little kid doing what his mom and dad tells him to do. That's wild. But it's like, have these people never paid bills before? Like, did these people not know the actual reason why people go to work? Wild.
Wow. What the fuck? Like, we really gotta like do that like every day to pay bills, to
Yeah, most people
live,
do.
keep our head above water. Like, this shit is sad. Like, I really don't want to do that, and I gotta get up and do that every single day for the rest of my life until I'm 70. I'm mind blown.
Bro thinks he has woke up to some shit. He is actually like is onto some. This has been widely known for the vast majority of time, probably forever, that working's not the funnest thing to do. Okay, a lot of people don't love their jobs. It's just a source of income. It's something to do to get by. If you do actually like your job, you're pretty lucky. You're almost blessed. But this next video, this girl quit her job like 2 weeks before TikTok was gonna get banned. Like, what are people thinking, dude? Okay, I am such a good example of this because I did quit my job to do TikTok. I was making more money on TikTok for more than 3 months than I was working at my normal 9 to 5. Now, fair enough, I was making minimum wage in my cost of living area. I was making about $15 an hour, and I was making more than that. Also making my 1 minute videos and doing the TikTok live shops and doing a bunch of these different things. I was sponsored by a couple different brands, and I was able to do that. But people need to understand that it's still work. Like, if you turn what you love doing, which is a hobby when you're just doing it for your escape and you're potentially hoping one day it could become something, once it becomes that, it's a job now. Like, you are your own boss. If you don't make those 1 minute videos, you don't get paid. If TikTok gets banned, your entire income stream is gone and you don't get to write off unemployment because there is no such thing when you work for this type of situation. Also, you have to pay in taxes. So there's no W-2s, there's 1099s. It's not all sunshine and rainbows and glory days when you're on this side of the fence. They always say the grass is greener on the other side. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful for being able to do everything that I'm able to do. But there's a lot of work that comes into it. I'm not going to say working is easier than sorry, I'm not going to say being a content creator is harder than working 9 to 5 because that's not true. Like working most 9 to 5s are way harder. If you do construction, if you do anything that actually takes skill like that, it's not. But if you're doing like just like if you're working at like restaurants, if you're working at retail stores, simple things like that, being a content creator kind of is a little bit it's different because it's your everything. You are your boss. You are your employees. You are everything about that. So it really is. This girl is gonna she's gonna tell you what happens when they don't have it all mapped out. Now people don't want to work. Wage slavery, I believe, is possibly a thing, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. But I think a lot of these young folks are just way too over their head and what they think could be not what anything could be accomplished if you put your time and effort into it. But I think that there's not what they expect it to be once they get there.
TikTok ban is affecting real life people. I had literally just put in my 2 weeks notice to become an influencer, and I had to beg my job to let me take it back. Just in case we think I'm kidding, I, Sadie Dorton, would like to notify you that I'm resigning due to being TikTok famous. My last day of employment will be January 19th.
She really put on her resignation letter that she's TikTok famous. And now she's begging for her job back. What do you think they're going to tell her? I wonder what they're going to say.
It was supposed to be. I told him I'm taking it back. You know what else is really, really bad news for me? I just signed the lease on a $2,500 a month apartment. And I just bought a 2025 car that I don't know how I'm gonna pay for. So
she's delusional.
I'm feeling it right now. Back to the restaurant, baby. And before anybody tells me to get a job like the rest of us, I do have a job. I mean, I do now that I took my 2 weeks notice back. But posting on TikTok is a job. It's really hard work. Like, you guys wouldn't know what it feels like to sit there and edit a video, choose the right font. Like, you guys wouldn't get it, so.
Is that how I just sounded like 30 seconds ago when I said that? I'm sorry if I sounded like that. That's not what I meant. It's not like that. We're gonna get into some comments because I always love to show the support that you guys show over here, and feel free to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. You might have it seen in a future video. But yeah, that girl right there, I don't think she was being satire, to be honest. I think she was kind of being honest, and she was trying to make herself feel better so she doesn't get judged so hard. People are going to make fun of her. They're going to clown her for that whole thing. But my reaction to that mindset and attitude is like, being TikTok famous is overrated. Being YouTube famous is cool and all. There's a lot more money in that for sure, but it is a job per se. If you make money for an income, sorry, that made no sense. If you make money, therefore an income, through a business or through some sort of corporation venture, and you pay taxes on it, like most people do, then, or like most people, like everybody should, I'm saying, then it's a job, in my personal opinion. Now, to each their own. I feel like a lot of you guys are gonna have different thoughts, opinions. Some of you guys hate TikTok, and for some reason you guys still watch YouTube though, so it kind of confuses me. And some of you guys think all this sort of content creation, entertainer type bullshit is just fake and not really real. Now, I think it's a job if you're making income. I think that if you work for YouTube, you're working for Google. If you work for TikTok, you're working for, I guess now they're saying you're working for China. So there's that. But let's get into some comments here. The cost of living has increased a lot due to inflation. Here's a food for thought. It's always better to keep yourself busy. And then it says just to keep on working. So basically, you just got to keep on working, and there's really no way around it. You are going to be working until you die. This is what it is. Nah, I just don't want to be a slave to a capitalistic society being born into an existence I didn't ask for. That's why I'm homeless, so I can pursue my passions and true calling. Well, buddy, I hear you there. I hope your passions don't cost any dollar bills, and I hope all the cents that you save, all the cash money, you get actual cents. That was such a dumb thing to say. I'm sorry. But seriously, though, I mean, a lot of people do feel that way. Like, that's what this whole video is about, is the whole wage slavery concept. People feel like they're stuck in the system, and it's not fair. I'm 30. I've worked many physical labor jobs, used to make 40 plus. It's all a scam. I now shovel horse stalls for $4 a stall. What? Really? I've never been happier. You're going to die anyway. Might as well not hate your life doing. Hey, man, if you love doing that with the horse stalls, man, do it up. But I think you can make more than $4 an hour. Sorry, you said $4 a stall. I always misrepresent some of these people because I always either get them backwards or I read it wrong. So I want to make sure I get that right. That's pretty crazy though. Hey man, he's right though. If you love what you're doing, it doesn't really matter how much you make. But these days in this economy, if you got to kind of find a way to sustain yourself. If you think you can be homeless in Wyoming, you gonna die from the cold. Yeah, it is pretty cold right here. It's like literally like 3 degrees right now outside. Um, there's a reason they don't have any homeless. Also heard the cops are very racist there. If you don't like a local, they practically hate you there. Not sure about the other state mentioned though. I live in Minnesota. There are definitely homeless people here, and it's very cold. So I believe there are probably homeless people in Wyoming, and I've never been there, so I can't really tell you anything about the racism. But hopefully it's not that bad. But it is the world, and it's America, so I'm sure there's some all around, unfortunately. But that's just the truth of the matter. Now, last comment that we're going to get into, which I thought was kind of interesting. I actually thought this was pretty interesting. This was replying to my last video, talking about Gen Zs and millennials, debt and identity crisis, talking about how some people are in debt for reasons they can't help, and some people are in debt for things that they just shouldn't be in debt for at all. Travel in Travel in the gap year in Australia is a bit of a tradition in Australia. The girl will be fine. She said all of her debt, her thousands of dollars, was from travel and just like life expenses, just like enjoying her life. Now, in America, that's super frowned upon. Like, if your debt's not from college or to get yourself ahead through like a car loan or some sort of like house loan, it's like, what are you doing? You just wasted your next 10 years on interest payments. But apparently in Australia, I've heard they have pretty high interest inflation there too. So she's probably not going to save herself. But apparently, this woman or this person um, feels like she'll be fine. So maybe you guys have a different mindset there. Please let me know in the comments if anybody's from Australia. But either way, I do appreciate all your guys' love and support around here. Feel free to throw your thoughts, opinions down below in the comments. Again, like I said, you might see it in a further video here in the near future. And I do plan on continuing doing these daily uploads, or at least multiple times per week. Feel free to let me know in the comments any different topics you'd like me to touch on, probably related to these types of categories I usually touch on. But it's up to you guys. I'm just going to ride off the waves of the flow, what you guys are going with and what you guys feel and are rocking to. So anyway, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.